So guess what, boys and girls? My children were stolen. Literally stolen. You don't steal people's kids. Okay? So now somebody's going to pay. You don't steal people's children. You don't do that shit. So they saw that I was potty training a puppy, and they took the kids for that. They said, "We're taking your kids." I said, "For what? For what?" Because I was potty training a puppy. That's the only thing it can be. Because there was nothing wrong. I had a housekeeper. The house was clean. Kids were fine. I was fine. There was nothing wrong. So potty training a puppy is the only reason they could have. Now, I don't know what they told Judge Harris. They could have told Judge Harris the kids were covered in cigarette burns for all I fucking know. I don't know what they told him. And I don't know why he kept granting them authority to come on my property. And what did the Gawds say? They said there would be a rough patch. And then once we get done with the rough patch on the other side, everything will be awesome. Everything will be great. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm ready for this shit to kick off, and get these motherfuckers their comeuppance and shit. Their timeline isn't necessarily our timeline, unfortunately. I'm like, why in the hell didn't you kill that son of a bitch before he walked into the courtroom with that fake ass will? I guess they wanted to make sure that he gets all of the blame when everything goes down. I guess that's why they allowed it. And then that way, because forging a legal document, man, that's an automatic felony. And and the feds ain't gonna give a damn whether he's sick or well. They're gonna throw his ass in a jail cell, whether he likes it or not. Because remember, class, he crossed state lines to come down here to do his thing. I'm ready for this shit to draw to a close, and so that and go back to being normal again. And it's one thing to be existing. It's quite another to live a normal life. So, but hopefully we can get that done soon. But anyway, Larry lied to my face, said he had taken medical power of attorney away from me, and he comes in. Now, why did he come down here in an all-fired hurry? He come down here because Mom had snapped out of this damn drug they had given her. See, they were giving her memantine. Memantine is a drug you give to people who have dementia. Mom didn't have dementia. So when you give the drug to a normal person, you actually give them dementia, or you give them the symptoms thereof. So they knew what they were doing. They did this so that she couldn't testify in court, because they know as soon as she testifies and says, "Hey, I got rid of his ass in 2015. My son's the legitimate executor." Well, see, they didn't want her saying that. She tried. My mother tried 5 times in district court to tell them goons that he wasn't the executor, and she was denied. Her own fucking lawyer named Jake wouldn't even let her speak. Okay, that's sick. That's wrong. But that's the way it goes. And so there we are. But, and now she's dead, so she can't speak. At least they think she can't. We're in for a big shock, though, because she can. And we'll find out how very soon. But anyway, point is that, they think they won. They think they've succeeded. They haven't. Because there's coming a recompense for them, all of them. Yes, especially Stivers. Because by now, Stivers has to know that James Arnold Frost killed my mother. James Arnold, Larry, and Ronnie Ray, and their significant others killed my mother in cold blood with malice on purpose. Stivers has to know that by now. And the fact that he is still representing those people, well, Stivers goes bye-bye right along with him. But I've got Stivers out of his own mouth slandering, libeling, and defaming my character right there in black and white. And you can bet your ass that's going to be given to a judge. Bet your ass it will. So, it's all good, man. Everything's the way the reason the Gawds let this drag out as long as they did is so that it will get to the place to where nobody is going to be able to blame anyone except the Frosts and Stivers. That's the way the Gawds set it up, apparently. And I will be held completely blameless. They won't be able to say or do anything to me at all. No way. Because I haven't been able to do anything.
I mean, I think like how slimy and evil a person has to be to do the things that they do to defend a group of people, a criminal syndicate. like the
Well,
Frost
see that
family.
well I was
You understand? You think about that for a second. I understand everyone has a right to a lawyer, but to
yeah.
willingly and consciously be a part of literally a mafia.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's going to get Stivers. Stivers had to know that the Frosts were over in family court getting my kids taken away from me
I
because
mean, there's
getting the
got to be
kids.
a point where where they're admitting to criminal actions. Don't you have to, even as a lawyer, even the client attorney privilege gets thrown out after a while. Where if you're admitting to like giving people, killing them for money, aren't you required by law to like report that and stuff?
Well, here's the
Even as a
thing.
lawyer, or do lawyers get away with that? I don't know.
Lawyers don't have to say anything. As far as I know, lawyers don't have to say anything.
Really?
It's attorney client privilege. Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a little crazy in my
Isn't that
opinion.
sick? But it's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. But
I mean,
here's the
I
thing.
believe in people being defended and all that, but if you're admitting the straight out crimes, there's got
Right.
to be a level.
Yeah. And again, that's attorney client privilege. It don't have to be. It doesn't have to be registered in the court at all. But here's the thing. Okay. Here's the takeaway. Stivers has to know by now, at least, that Frost was in family court trying to get my kids taken away from me so that he could steal this property, because that's the exact modus operandi for why I was locked out of the double wide. We now have the video, the infamous video, where the troll YouTube trolls are telling Ronnie Ray, hey, you got to lock him out of that double wide so that he can't get his kids back in November and they can be adopted out. I've got that video, and you can bet your sweet ass that video is going to make its way to every media. It's going to make its way to every judge. It's going to make its way to every place I can think of. The governor, the attorney general, everybody's going. And when everybody watches that video, people are going to start going to jail. Hopefully, Stivers and the Frost starting with them, and then subsequently anybody else that affiliates themselves with them.
This whole thing smells
Oh, it's
just
sad, man. It's really sad. See, the thing of it is that the kids is the one that suffered the most. They lost
something
their
the
mother.
kids do. Yeah.
They lost their mother, their father, their both sets of grandparents. They lost their childhood. They lost their innocence. They weren't able to have fun. I mean, they'd no sooner go out and start playing out in the yard than here comes CPS with a police officer to take them away. Okay, and that's another thing too. And that's the thing that's going to get the governor and the attorney general, is because the governor and the attorney general, unbeknownst to anybody, I was emailing the governor and the attorney general everything that was going on. Literally step by step, everything that they were doing, everything that Stivers did, everything that Stella House did, everything that the Frost did, and everything that these trolls did. It's all in emails given to the governor and the attorney general. And the fact that the governor and the attorney general sat on their ass and did absolutely nothing as just, I mean, there's my lawsuit right there. Because they should have acted. They should have stopped this before it drug on for no 15 goddamn years. A model citizen harassed by CPS for 15 years at the behest of a bunch of goddamn terrorists? No, that's not legal. Okay, and the governor and the attorney general should have stepped in and said, hey, leave that motherfucker alone. He's a model citizen. He ain't bothering them. Kids are not in danger, which any moron would know my kids are not in any danger. They've never been in any danger. And what did Amy, one of the CPS workers, tell me to my face? We're taking your kids anyway. I said, you can't do that. That's felony kidnapping. There's nothing wrong here. So we don't give a shit. We're taking the kids anyway. And you know what? They took the kids because they had cops with them. So they took the kids anyway. So guess what, boys and girls? My children were stolen. Literally stolen. And that's going to come back to haunt CPS, and it's going to come back to haunt family court. Bet on it. Bet on it. It will. You don't steal people's kids. Okay? So now somebody's going to pay. And if I got to take it all the way, I will remind everyone the Supreme Court is only 9 hours drive away that direction. It's only a 9-hour drive away. I can get up at 3:00 in the morning and I can be at the Supreme Court filing my Maricus beef or whatever the fuck you call it by 12 noon. I can have that filed by 12 fucking noon. in the Supreme Court, the real Supreme Court. Tell me I won't take it all the way to Supreme Court. I sure as fuck will. You don't steal people's children. You don't do that shit. We're taking them anyway, she said. Well, what is that? That's theft.
That's evil. I mean, that's beyond just reprehensible. That's beyond reprehensible. I mean, if we lived in a just republic, if we lived in a republic that was just and honorable, that woman would be taken out back. And I quite frankly, frank with you, she would be executed right on the spot. You can't talk like that.
Well,
you can't say that you're going to commit kidnapping in front of God and everyone as witnesses.
And I told her to her face, that's felony kidnapping. You can't do it. She said, we can do whatever we want. And I said, do you mean you're above the law? She said, yes, we're above the law. 4 police officers. Why 4? Why did they come out with an army of cops? Makes you wonder, right? And me, a model citizen with no criminal record, never done anything wrong. But they come out with 4 cops, and they said, we're taking the kids anyway. I said, you can't do that. There's nothing wrong with the house, nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with the kids. See you, bye. Get off my property. We can't do that. We're taking the kids anyway. I said, you can't do it. It's felony kidnapping. He said, we don't give a fuck. I said, are you telling me you're above the law? She said, yes. And then
that is just absolutely fucking.
So when I say my kids were stolen, I'm not saying it to hear myself talk. I'm not saying
it's quite literally. They were quite literally
stole the kids. Yeah, they literally stole the kids. And then they come back and take them again because I'm potty training a goddamn puppy in my house. That's not a crime. Even the damn police officer that was there got embarrassed.
Yeah.
He stepped outside. He was so embarrassed. See, they couldn't find anything wrong because I had a housekeeper keeping my house clean. So they couldn't find anything wrong with the house. So they saw that I was potty training a puppy, and they took the kids for that. They said, we're taking your kids. I said, for what? For what? Because I was potty training a puppy. That's the only thing it can be. Because there was nothing wrong. I had a housekeeper. The house was clean. Kids were fine. I was fine. There was nothing wrong. So potty training a puppy is the only reason they could have. Now, I don't know what they told Judge Harris. They could have told Judge Harris the kids were covered in cigarette burns for all I fucking know. I don't know what they told him. And I don't know why he kept granting them authority to come on my property. But I was talking to Tim today. And I said, Tim, in your opinion, what would Daniel Boone have done if he saw them women coming here and stealing these kids over and over and over again? And Tim said that Daniel Boone would have took them women and the police officers with them and hung every one of them in that tree over there.
And that's been the end of justice. That's what you do.
That's because that's exactly what they would have. That's exactly what they would have done. You can't steal people's children, okay?